I'm about to fabricate a custom downpipe for this Cupra Ateca 2019. Let's get stuck into it. It absolutely rips. Oh. Handmade, right here in the UK, in my shop. Welcome to NawFabz. Okay, let's get stuck into this. I've never worked on one of these before. This is a first for me. It's a is it a 2019? Yeah, it is. 2019 Cupra Ateca. I am led to believe it is essentially a Golf R or an S3 in a frock, a different dress. Underneath, I'm expecting it to be exactly the same as an S3 or a Golf R, but I am not sure. I've never worked on one of these before. Being a 2019 model, this will be a OPF or a GPF model, but it won't be after the end of today. Today's job, in this episode, we'll be building a 3-inch downpipe from scratch. We're not buying one in, we're not fitting it, we are building one from scratch. And we're going to see exactly what it does to the exhaust note of this car. We're going to see how it changes it, we're going to see how it drives. Obviously, we won't be driving the car on the road with any illegal modifications, so yeah, just bear that in mind, but we'll see how it drives later on in the video, if you get me drift. Let's give you a quick sound clip of what it sounds like now. Now, this is probably going to be valved. Let's have a look. It's not. Oh, it is. Yeah, it is valved. I just couldn't see it. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is a valved exhaust system. So we're going to flick through drive select. We're going to see what it sounds like in eco. We're going to see what it sounds like in sport. Just see how it compares basically when we've done downpipe. See what it sounds like after. Also, just to reiterate, doing a downpipe on these, removing emissions devices is illegal in just about every country or state I can think of. So just check before, if you are thinking of doing this modification. This video is purely for entertainment purposes only. This cannot be used on a road afterwards, not in the UK anyway. Right, let me find the drive select. There we go, what we got here, what sport, Cupra, comfort, right. So I'm guessing this is going to be valves closed. Fairly quiet. And we've got different drive selects. Now we've got sport. Let's flick it in sport. Won't lie to you, I didn't hear it make a difference. Not from inside anyway. Try it in the next one, which is Cupra. Yeah, again, I'm not hearing any differences in terms of exhaust note. Each one sounds exactly the same to me, so what are we doing wrong here? I'm not too sure if it's had any modifications done. I'm not too sure if the valves are still plugged in or if they've like used OBD11 to coat exhaust flaps completely open all the time. Some reason I'm not hearing a great deal of difference between open and closed, so like comfort mode, Cupra modes, not sure. Let's get it up in air and we'll have a look. We'll see if the valves are unplugged, or if they're not, well, you know what that is, don't you? Not our problem. We're not here to do that, we're here to do a downpipe. So we've already got the steering rack disconnected in the car. That's one thing we're going to need to do on this car. We need to drop the entire subframe, entire steering rack assembly. That's all got to come down to do this downpipe. Got to take it all off to get the old one out. I'm hoping it's going to be the same as a Golf R one because I have got a Golf R jig. So while kind of stripping it, I can be already part building the downpipe. Let's get it up. Let's have a little look, see what it looks like underneath. So underneath here, we're just going to disconnect the exhaust clamp, downpipe clamp. Then that way, once we've got everything off up in the air, we haven't really got to come back down with the car, it'll already be loose. Same with the lander sensor plug, which is that one. Just disconnected that. That just runs down back at firewall there and clips in down there, look, plugs in, should I say. That's the only two things that you have to do really, from underneath, from on the top. Everything else is underneath. Red hot. At least it's nice and free. Yeah, but that is unbelievable. Have a little spin. It's as hot as lava. There we go, that's on tray waiting for us. Right, let's go up and have a look underneath. Come on then, let's go and have a look, see what it looks like. So initially this looks exactly the same as a Golf R one or an S3 one, looks very similar. I'm expecting this to be the same car. Initially it does. The whole car, drivetrain, all looks the same. One thing I am noticing though, because this is an OPF model, look what's missing. There is no there's no center resonator. But in terms of actually being the same, it looks identical. But here is where all the problem lies on these newer cars. This is an OPF or a particulate filter. This is what's ruining all the fun on all your new cars, your M3s, your C63s. They all sound pants because of that, quite simply. Well, today's job is it'll be going, and we'll be working all the way up to this clamp here. All this is going to be a 3-inch downpipe by the time we've done. But before we can even get to it, as you can see, we need to drop off the under tray, we need to drop off the wheels, we need to drop off the subframe. Everything's all got to come down for us to get access to the downpipe, because it is all one piece. There is no joint up here, it's all one piece. All comes off in one thing. And there's be some sensors what we've got to put back in. Look, we've got temp sensors here, these will need to go back in. Another one there, pressure pipe, quite possibly, or whatever, that'll need to go back in as well. Let's get this subframe off, let's have a better look at it. We need to get this tray out of the way. Got T25s and what's that one? 45. So let's get this tray off. There's the bolt I dropped earlier. Sat there waiting. So in terms of looking like exactly the same as a Golf R or an S3, to me, it's absolutely identical. So that's good news for us, because I can use the jig what I've got to build the majority of this exhaust without having to do it. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to let Connor take over, let him do the strip work. Because we've seen all this before, haven't you, a million times, taking subframes off, it's only nuts and bolts. Much more exciting. Let's get the jig down. And let's start building the front portion of the downpipe. So here it is, the masterpiece. Do not laugh at my jig. Yes, it might look a little bit crude, but it's not really a production jig. It's not like we're printing them off by the hundreds. This is just purely for my own personal use. So when I get one in, it just speeds the process up a little bit. And I tell you what, when we build it to this, I know it fits perfect, because I've built a downpipe and then obviously made this jig to suit that downpipe. And I've used it before, I know it works. And this looks exactly the same to me, so I'm almost certain it's going to be exactly the same. Now you'll notice it's not a complete jig, it doesn't go all the way to the back. That's because some cars have got res deletes and some have got like standard ones, some have got 3-inch cap backs, so there is no one fits all for everything. So I just make it so it gets us to here, which the subframe is like here, then this bit finishes on a V-band, and then obviously we can just do the next bit, tailor it to whatever's on the rest of the car, whether it be 3-inch, whether it be a res delete, or like, I don't think this will be exactly the same as a Golf R, so yeah, that's why this next bit here will be a little bit different to what it would be. But there you go, that's what we're going to be using, and you shall see. Although it is mighty crude, it's a 8-bit of kit. So coming over to the old Franken jig then, here is the first part, which is a flange, which suits Golf R and S3 and all that. See, that locates on there, lovely. Then we're going to want to get rid of all these. They'll help us later on because they hold the pipe. For this second we don't actually need them. Them out of his way. Bottom part is just a 3-inch V-band. So we do get one half of it. And that's it. Now we need to start taking the shape of this. This is what these do. They give us the shape. That's just a straight. That'll be a 90 degrees. Probably say a 90 degrees again, maybe a 60 degree. I don't know. Usually I write on what angles they are, but I haven't on this one, so we'll have to do some measuring, won't we? And after all that chopping, this is what we're left with. You can see in the jig, it is very close. Now, it's difficult for me to all hold with one hand. I'm going to need Connor in a minute. He's just having a poo. Once he comes back, then we're going to get Connor to hold it and we're going to get some marks on all this. It's pretty close. I've just tried it all, but it is very, very close. I'm just going to struggle to hold it all with one hand. His ear, look, he's just been for a poo, look. Come and hold this, Connor. Let's see how close it is. I think the top one needs a minor adjustment. When I say minor, I mean minor.
Looks like it might be a bit too long.
Something's too long. Something is definitely a little bit too long, and I think that angle's a bit off there. That's a minor problem, though. I'm not arsed on that. I can change that very, very easily. I mean, it's just not sat in there, which is, I'm not too sure why it's not sat in there. So it would have been sat in there when we jigged it, wouldn't it? Will it matter? Probably not.
Well, to get it to sat in, yeah.
Oh, there we go. We're very, very close at that. I am so close at that. Almost there, actually. That might even be worth a mark, you know. That is very, very close.
Got a bit of a gap this time.
Yeah, I know, yeah. I think it might be worth just putting a very light tack on that, just to hold it in position. And that gap there is very, very light. I think we'll bit of an angle tweak on that and we'll get it. But essentially, in case you were wondering, that is how a jig works. This is my stopper. I know I can't come any further that way. Ideally, I want it sat. Oh, by the way, I've just broke one of these off. Managed to knock it out of jig and snap one off. Good welder. So I need to put that back on. It's not going to matter though. It was just in a straight line to next one. It were that way around. There, look, it was just in a straight line. But that is how it works. This little marker here is for his lander sensor. That tells me where I need to put the lander sensor in. Very, very simple in terms of building it on a bench. Building it on the car is a little bit more technical, but building it on a jig is a lot easier, which is the whole purpose of the jig. So I'm going to tack this together, and then before we go any further, I am just going to make sure it fits on the car. The hangers are here. I'm not sure if the subframe's the same. It does look a touch different. Again, I'll make them, tack them on very lightly, and we'll see. If it lines up to a subframe, bonus. If not, well, then I'll just have to custom make them, and I'll know for future that the Golf R jig don't work for Cupra Atecas, which I'm pretty sure it's going to. Right, let's get some tacks on these, and then we'll check back in with you in a sec. So I've just done the absolute fail of the century. Just show them. See if anyone can realise what's missing.
Carl can't tell what's missing.
Come on then, Carl, what's missing? This is the fail of the century.
What's missing?
What have I not put in?
Fletcher. You're not.
What an absolute duggy. Forgot to put flexi in, didn't I? I'm thinking, that looks a bit too neat, like it's like something's missing. Yeah, flexi's missing, so
I'm concentrating on all these not being in the right spot.
Yeah. That being what I knocked off, the flexi is supposed to sit in between there and there. It was supposed to sit there like that. So yeah, I need to make a cut to put flexi in. What an idiot. So that would fail at century, weren't it? Or it almost close to being fail at century if I'd have forgot altogether. Well, I'd have clocked on at some point, just don't know when. Luckily, I've clocked it early. Right, that one's taking one. Tighten these up now, these need to be tight for this tacking procedure. Make sure no moves. Alright, quite simply now, we'll take the Abatic welding bench, we'll flex it either side, tack it into that V-band, and tack it into this top V-band as well. And then that should fit on car. We're going to do angers as well, but we're not going to weld angers on. We're just going to tack them on, then we're going to have a test fit, make sure it actually fits. So I've also just realised something else, what we need to be careful of. I'm just going to let Connor tack these up on here. Put this bit here, look, into the turbo housing. It's a little bit long, that will be sticking through into housing. We do not want that. So we need to take it back off in a sec, and we'll just trim that down to the length what we want. Just let Connor can tack these ones up. So we'll tack it to that V-band, do them two flexi ones. They're all right, it's just that top one what needs a little bit of shortening. answer to the question then, does the front part of a Golf R downpipe fit a Cupra Ateca? Answer is yes, like a glove. It fits better than a Golf R. They must be exactly the same because it fits an absolute dream everywhere. So bonus, that's just saved us a little bit of time, so we've been able to make that on the bench. Now the only difference is we've obviously got these sensors here, look. Now normally you don't have these on like a 7 or a 7.5 early one anyway, the later ones do, but as this is a GPF model we are going to have to put these sensors back in. Now I've just made a couple of little things. Just spun a couple of these up on lathe white boys, we're putting subframe back on to make sure it we're going to fit for these, look. Now these do screw off, but it's a pain in the ass to make stainless external threads. It's much easier for me to just literally weld that to my exhaust, put pipe back on. Pipe's not really going to be doing a great deal, but I just want it all on. I want it all like original on factory. These are just temperature sensors. We've got loads of bosses for them, so we'll put some of them in. We just need to mark where they need to go now. Pipe there is a pressure pipe, so we need to weld one of these nipples straight there onto the top of that. That'll go on there, and then the other temp sensor, well, that plugs in, we're going to have to just plug it in, run wire, and then we'll mark it wherever it's going to go on here. Probably have to go outside on this one because it's obviously a bigger bore downpipe, but we'll see. That's the first bit of the downpipe completed then. So that's the hard bit essentially. Now we can put this back on and get alt subframe back on, alt steering rack back on, everything can all go back on, leaving us just to make the intermediate part, which will come off of this V-band and joint it rest at exhaust, which is a doddle. Nice easy job at that point. See there, look, we've got a pressure pipe takeoff, we've got a temp sensor takeoff in there. Now that is not normally there on the normal Golf R's, it's only because it's an OPF model, but they will fit in there nicely. Yo, oi. Right, let's get this installed on car and then we can do the next part. So, just a little break from the Cupra. I have been doing a little something different. Check this out. Yeah, boy. That is finally some heating in the garage. Now, it's a little bit ghetto. I've got it rigged up at the minute because these are 12-volt suitcase heaters. They're designed for like a lorry or a caravan or that type of thing. So it is just wedged on a battery at the minute onto my battery charger. That is ghetto. I am going to sort that. Look at them bad boys, folks. So they are courtesy of Max Speeding Rods themselves. Nice little sponsorship with them. Happy with them. Hopefully it will take the edge off the workshop because it's cold in here. Let them warm up. I mean, the heat coming out of them is sick. So the things are up here, look. Straight above my welding bench. We're not bothered about them too. As long as I'm warm, that's all that matters, isn't it? Bought them coats and body warmers for that. The heat coming out of that, oh, lovely jubbly. So now when I come in the morning, it's cold. This is exactly where I stand for 10 minutes, sipping me coffee right under them heaters there, look. Oh yeah. Anyway, back to this Cupra. Have a look. So the subframe, everything, the entire assembly is all back together on the front. Pressure pipes on there, temperature sensors on there. Everything on the car now, minus the under tray, is all back together. Which leaves us with the last little leg to do then. We need to go from this V-band to there. Easy. Easy work. It's so easy. I've already got it mocked up, look. It's already sat here on bench waiting for me to weld it. Now I do need to drill it. Temp sensor there, pressure pipe there. Let's get all this welded up. And then once it's welded, we can go out and have a rip, can't we? See what it sounds like. Also, earlier on in the video, when we couldn't understand why the valves weren't working, well, I've figured out why they don't work. It's a little bit dark up here, hopefully you can see. The reason they don't work is because they ain't plugged in. So somebody's just put them in the open position and unplugged the valves, trying to extract every morsel of sound out of this. Now, when we've done this downpipe, it's going to make a substantial difference to sound, so I'm going to plug them valves back in so the drive select works. Hopefully they've not been coded off or anything stupid like that. Right, shut up rambling, Nath. Let's get welding this downpipe. Part 2 version. Get the second bit. Dog leg, whatever you want to call it. Let's weld it. Before we weld it, first things first, I'm going to drill these holes before I wipe all these marks off and end up wiping them marks off, what's already been put where we need to drill them. So I'm going to drill them through first. Notice how I've moved it over to this bench. Heaters. Woo, woo, woo. Beautiful. So there is going to be another video coming out about the Max Speeding Rod heater. It's going to be like a bit of an install video. I'd appreciate it all if you'd all go and watch it. as Max Speeding Rods was so kind to send us them for free as some sponsorship. So a little bit of clout, get some video views on that would be would make me a happy man. So if any of my regulars, please watch that video when it comes out. Thank you. Right, let's drill that a little bit bigger. Beautiful. Right, we'll get them tacked on now. So there's the boss for that. There's the pipe for the pressure pipe. I can wipe them marks off once I've tacked that on lightly. I know which one's which. Also, I'm going to try my new purge plugs out. Look, my new TIG Aesthetics purge plugs. I ordered these and I've done loads of welding since and I just keep forgetting to use them. So I'm going to actually use them today. They're like silicone bungs. Push one in that end, cap that end off. This one. Now I'm probably still going to have to use a bit of tape on this one, just because of the slits. Let's see if you can see, look, because the slits what are in there, they're not going to perfectly seal it. So I'm probably still going to have to use a little bit of tape on that. Oh, can't get over how nice them eaters are, boys. It's been a long time since I've had eating. It's lovely, that. Right, push that in there. There we go, bit of tape, cover them slits. How ironic that I've bought purge plugs and here I am still using masking tape. But they're not going to work for every application, are they? Anyway, let's do this. A little bit of lighting and all. Oof! And that's all welded up. This morning you saw how helpful the original part of the jig was. Well, the reason it was so helpful, because it was so helpful, we jigged up this part as well. So now, I now have a complete working jig for a Cupra Ateca. Now I'm not too sure if this back bit is the same as a Golf R. If it is, well then I'd have a back bit for a Golf R as well. I will need to test that. But yeah, now I know that that fits Cupra Ateca and it fits the stock exhaust absolutely perfect. This will now aid me on the next one that I have to do, because while Connor's stripping it, I can be building downpipe on bench, just speed things up a little bit, makes our life a little bit easier. It's no cheaper, so don't be asking me if it's cheap, because it's not. Just making my life easier. Right, last job. Get that up there, and let's go and have a drive in it, see what it sounds like, and see how it does on draggy. What's your estimation to draggy on this? I reckon 6.4, I've said it, called it.
Quicker than that.
You reckon?
5.9, yeah.
5.9 and 6.
What is it, got 4 inch?
Yeah.
Yeah, 5.9.
300 horsepower quattro. 5.9, I'm reckoning. Yeah, I don't know what condition. In fact, conditions are mint outside.
Yeah, I'm saying 5.9.
I'll stick with mine, 6.4, I'll stick. Right then, showtime. Steering racks all back together, all cars all back together. Let's have a listen. What does a Cupra Ateca sound like with just a downpipe? Let's find out. Right, initially, big difference initially. Right, so I did plug the valves back in, but the wires were a little bit water damaged, so I'm hoping they're going to work. Right, so at the minute it looks like they are working. The valves are closed at that. You can see gas is only coming out of the inner ones. Right, there you go. Big change in sound when you flip it into Cupra mode. It's loud, I'll tell you that, it's really loud. So this is comfort mode. Not bad. Little tinny if I say so myself. It's a little bit tinny, a little bit raspy, just because the GPF models are so quiet, there's not really a great deal in that back box. So that back box is not same as a pre-GPF model, I can tell you that. Sounds alright. Would have sounded better if there were a resonator in the middle. That's probably what I'll recommend to this guy. Right, that were valves closed. Let's flick valves open. This is now in Cupra mode. So as you can hear, quite a considerable difference with a downpipe. It makes a big difference. Does it sound as good as pre-GPF models? No. But the only reason for that is because there's no center resonator in these. If you put a center resonator in these, I think that'd sound absolutely, well, it'd just sound like the old one, sound beautiful. I don't think that sounds that amazing. Not revving, it's static. Sounds a little bit tinny for my liking. I don't like it when they're tinny like that. But there's only one thing to do, isn't there? Let's get out on that open road. That's where it really matters. Let's see what it sounds like on the open road. See if it sounds like a rice bag, or let's see if it actually sounds nice. Right then, this is what matters, isn't it? Let's go and see what it actually sounds like on road. So at the moment we are driving with valves closed. We'll give it a review both open and closed. See what's what. My initial thoughts, it's nice with valves shut.
Sounds really nice, doesn't it?
There's a little noise there, isn't there? So you've got some noise out of it, definitely. Paddles as well. Bet this will sound nice on downshift. All three in it. 25 to 4. The heater's off because it's boiling in here.
That busy, all three.
Sounds nice in car, I think, even with valves shut.
It's still loud, but it's got no resonator though, has it?
No, I think it would sound better. It'd sound better if you got a resonator out of an earlier car and put it in this. Oof, that's bright. Oh, I can't see a thing with that. So just normal driving with valve closed, absolutely lovely. Lovely. Can hardly even tell, it's just a nice tune to it. Not bad at all.
Bridge test.
Missed it, it worked quick enough. Right, let's get it in Cupra mode then. So we're happy with that. Sounds good with valves closed. In fact,
well, that crackled then, did you hear it?
Can't see a thing.
Bloody
hell, it's fast.
Still think 6.9.
No, I've changed my mind. I don't think this is stock. I reckon this is
feel fast.
I think this is mapped me. Didn't feel.
Oh, get out of friggin' way.
Tinny. Yeah, it's just a bit tinny. It's a shame because it sounds so nice, but it's just a little bit tinny.
That gear change noise though is.
Right, let's get it in.
That's perfect.
Let it get in top gear. Right, 7th gear, valves open, cruising, absolutely silent, no drone whatsoever. So it's not going to drone with valves closed because they're open at that. That's such a shame. It sounds so nice, but that little tinniness just ruins it. Quick car though, I don't think it's stock. gearing down now. It's such a shame. He wants a resonator putting in it. Put a little resonator in that and it will be absolutely perfect. Just get rid of that tinniness. I'm going to tell him. I'm going to say get a little res in that and it's going to be perfect sounding. God, the sun is so bright.
I can see. You're alright on this side.
Not this side.
You're about to not be though. Yep, don't we yet. You clear again on this side for a little bit.
Traffic's hectic in it. Not ideal for doing a dragging room.
You've got no room yet. Unless you can make it out. Got
Right, it's a lot more booming with valves up on a normal driving, I tell you that. Well, that's what valves are for, isn't it? That's why I've plugged them back in.
It like that, mate.
That's why I've plugged them back in though, because if it gets on your nerves, you can switch it off, can't you? This should have launch control.
Oh, yeah.
I can remember how to do it. My God, that sun.
There's something coming in also.
Alright. What has it done? Broke down.
I've just put them on already.
Sorry everybody, we've broken down. Right, so you'd have it in sport, traction. Now that's stop starting it. Where's traction?
P?
No, that's park assist. Oh, I bet it's an here like my car and that. Settings. Car. Where on earth is traction control? That's stop start. What? HDC. Next. Lap timer. Sport information.
That's
What?
it.
How do you turn traction off? Why is all these cars so difficult to turn traction off? No. What the fuck? Might just try it without then, because I have no idea where it is.
Unless putting it in Cupra mode takes it out. Like.
Maybe it does it. Maybe Cupra mode gives it some sort of like adaptive. What's the other one? Individual. We'll just try. We're just going to roll in Cupra mode.
I think individual's better, isn't it?
Individual's where you can set your own things in it, so it depends what he's got set, doesn't it? Right. Please, nothing else come. Ready?
Yeah.
Whoa, that was fast.
G47 were fucking ridiculous. I tell you something. We've been absolutely.
We were miles off, both for us.
Absolutely buggered there. That's fastest one ever.
We were both
G47, did that have your stomach going?
Yeah, it did. It did. So that's we were both miles off. Put it that way, miles off. Let's
like
get back.
I'm in a plane then in Pittsburgh.
It blew Connor's rock off. It blew his wig off. Right. Let's head back to base. Get you a little flyby on way. Let's head back to base and let's see what time it did. We were both a mile off, I'll tell you that. Just gonna get you a quick flyby.
Definitely still off.
Yeah. How many times I forget to take reg plate off bike? We've just been a cruise 10 miles with reg plate on, seeing coppers and lot. I don't know how we don't get pulled. One day we are gonna get pulled with that reg plate on. You've heard it here first. One day, right? Let's get you a little flyby.
Sounds naughty that from outside.
Does it?
Yeah.
Them pops when you pull it up and that sound mint.
Yep.
The bit we've all been waiting for then. So his name is... His pen's not working. His name is Bal. Oh, I need a new pen. Pen's dying. She's dead, isn't she?
Yeah.
Have to get a new pen, folks. Right, name's Bal. And it was a 2 litre TSI Cupra. For spell Ateca right. Cupra Ateca. Power at the moment, I don't know what power is it. Stock, the 300. Whether that's 300 or not, I don't know. And it's not going to tune to over 400 from a stage 1 anyway with stock downpipe. So it's going to be in 200 to 400 one. What do we reckon? Did we beat 7.46? We beat it alright. We beat it alright with a 4.66 seconds. Absolutely smashed everything. Beat S4. S4 did it in 5.49 seconds. That were a big car, I suppose, but that were in the 400 horsepower club. Absolutely battered everything so far. So Bal's Cupra Ateca has set the bar. Well, really, I had it for that club.
Yeah.
Now, I know it's beating that for a while. Nothing is beating that for a while. Somebody else commented on one of the YouTube videos saying, oh, it's not fair, 4-wheel drives against 2-wheel drive. You're right, it's not. Because nothing's going to beat that. Nothing front-wheel drive is going to beat that. So, question is, folks, what do we do? Do we have another list? Do we have separate lists for Quattros? Or what? What do we do? As you can see, I haven't got enough room really. So do we just half it?
I would.
Do we have top five? Do we have 5
5
front wheel drive, 5 Quattro? Let us know in comments. What should we do? Should we have the top 5 in Quattro, top 5 in front wheel drive to make it fair for everybody else? Because that is, well, that's just taking biscuit in it. Nothing's beating 4.66 as a front wheel drive car. No way, not a chance. This is going to be what Escort will be in. I'm hoping Escort are going to be top of this list. No chance. Escort is not getting no. It'd be lucky to beat these. Anyway, folks, thank you very much for watching. If you've watched all the way through, if you do like this type of content, please consider hitting that subscribe button. We've got loads more content like this. This is what we do. We'll see you in the next one.